Coming up.
I burned out.
As a recent brilliant graduate, I'm ready to take the workplace by storm. But first, I have a few questions. So I found some smart professionals to help me answer some questions. Welcome to my first job series. I'm super close to starting my first job. I just need to decide on who deserves to have me working for them. Now, while I plan to boss it out in the workplace, I still plan to live the baby girl lifestyle. How did you guys manage work-life balance in your first job?
Work-life balance for me in my first job didn't exist, to be honest.
I think that when we start jobs very young, in our 20s, if it's not a typical, I studied in medical school and I became a medical doctor. If it's one of those things where you have to try out a couple of things, a bit of internship here, a bit of admin work here, a bit of, in those kinds of places, early in your career, you don't really get to decide how many hours you should work. You must just.
But initially it was more about the job. The job was taking 90% of my time and I only had 10% to just go home and sleep.
Is that really how you lost your hair to bang? Why is the first year that intense though?
You're trying to make good impressions. You're also trying to be the kid who's killing it, and also kind of part of the, I would say, corporate etiquette.
It's your formative years, right? It's where you're building the skills that you're gonna need going forward. So it requires a lot more time commitment.
That sounds exhausting.
I think it's very important to do your best and learn as fast as you can and accelerate that payoff that your company has seen in you when they hired you. But I don't think you should exhaust yourself or you should work ridiculous amounts of hours to get there.
Thank you. Spending 90% of my time at work does not sound healthy.
First year when I started, I burned out.
I keep hearing about burnout. Is it that much worse than regular stress?
Burnout means stress-induced depression. When the body is subject to too much stress over time, the brain will become depressed.
Oh, that sounds serious.
And that's a natural consequence of sitting at your desk and working from 7 a.m. in the morning until 1 o'clock at night nonstop, right? It's not that you're weak. This is at some point your brain just goes, I can't handle this anymore, it's too much.
Okay, that's significantly worse than just stress.
So after you learn that there are still people who do the same type of work that you do and who don't put as much effort as you are putting, but they know how to play the game, you start looking for ways to play the game better and enjoying your life.
You know I want to enjoy my life, and putting in less effort is right up my alley. Can't say that in an interview. But how do I play the game better?
Really trying to separate your identity from your work, your whole identity from your work is my number one thing.
Your professional life is a part of you. There are other aspects of your life, so your personal life, your spiritual life, your artistic life, we are whole human beings with different parts of us, and I don't think your professional life should be your everything.
Step 1, recognize other aspects of my identity and don't neglect them in pursuit of my career. Okay, but how do I maintain that balance?
There's only so many hours in a day. You have to have boundaries.
Try to establish boundaries for yourself. Experiment out with different things. What works for you, what doesn't work for you. And to the extent possible, establish boundaries that you can hang on to like 80 or 70 or 80% of the time. You won't always be able to hang on to them because things happen or a meeting is scheduled at a time when it doesn't suit or whatever.
What kind of boundaries worked for you?
I had my Saturdays as non-negotiable. I had to play soccer on Saturday. I had to call family. I had to do something fun.
I like the idea of a non-negotiable day. I can work really hard during the week, but make sure my weekends are free for me to just relax and catch up on fun things. And yes, I'm taking 2 days. It sounds easier said than done though.
I have artists that will call me at 2 a.m. I'm sleeping. Even if I see the call, I'm not going to pick up. And it's easier said than done.
No kidding.
If you're tired, you cannot pick up that person's call right now. Don't feel so bad about it or, oh my God, that means I'm not. No. If not, you will not bring your healthier self to work. It's really important that we draw lines and be very honest about what you can and cannot do at every time. And if not, you're going to burn out.
And what does burnout look like? It means time off work. It means medication. It means your mental capacities are never the same as they used to be. It means a whole lot of things that you're better off avoiding.
You're right. It's about health, and I'm no good to anyone if I burn out. I mean, I recognize that the start of my career requires a lot of sacrifice and learning, and I'm willing to do that, but I know balance is essential. I'll take the time to figure out healthy boundaries I can stick to, at least most of the time, and make sure to separate my identity from my career. I know it won't be easy, but if I start early, then I can develop habits that'll last me throughout my professional life. Thanks everyone, I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Did you manage to find work-life balance in your first job? What boundaries have you found useful in your professional life? Let me know in the comments below. Next time on my First Job series, I explore the avenues to building solid networks.
Friendship among people doing the same thing is usually very powerful.
It's just not how I want to conduct my relationships.
And the single best way to establish your network is just to